What is up, everybody? I hope you guys enjoyed week one. I did. It was a fun time. I enjoyed watching football all day. I literally just sat on my ass for like 11 hours and did not move. I had a very enjoyable week. I hope that I gave y'all some advice that helped some people win. Anyway, file on in. Ask me your fantasy football questions, anything to do with week one. What did you think of week one? Did you win your matchup? Did I help you win your matchup? Did I make you lose your matchup? Be honest with me. Let me know. Give me some feedback on everything week one related. What's up, everybody? What's up, Eddie? We got people filing on in. Good to see you. Hope you enjoyed week one. Hope you got the win. Let me know how it went. Who stepped up for you? Thoughts on Jerome Ford and the Browns offense? The Browns looked. Hey, bro, what's going on, bro? Thoughts on the Browns offense? The Browns looked extremely sloppy. That being said, um, you know, it was very much because of the Cowboys pass rush, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the Browns. Deshaun Watson looked bad. The offensive line looked bad. They couldn't stop the pass rush whatsoever. With that being said, I think this offense will turn things around, and I think Jerome Ford is a really good play as long as Nick Chubb is out, mainly due to his pass catching upside. So if you're playing in a PPR league, he's certainly a viable option. In a non-PPR league, maybe not quite as much. Did you win your matchup ever, Mr. De La Hoya? I won. I still have two matchups that are undetermined, so I'll get back to y'all on that. Man, what a game for Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had 21 targets. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And this is a guy. Sorry, man. I haven't checked. Are you talking about in the subscriber league? Is that where you got destroyed? But yeah, anyway, Cooper Kupp. I've been stealing Cooper Kupp like in the fourth round all season long, like all off season long. Okay, I got you. And now he's looking like he is a player that should have gone at the beginning of round one. Now that's very much because of the Puka Nacua injury. But I was saying this going into the season, Cooper Kupp's going to be a target hog, and they were targeting him like crazy before Puka Nacua went down anyway. But as long as Puka Nacua's out, Cooper Kupp's going to be a freaking monster. Look for this dude to explode. You went 2-2 in your 4 leagues. That's not bad. I mean, at least you started 2-2, right? It beats starting 1-3, or 0-4. So, man, the subscriber league's crazy, man. Just because the teams are so incredibly stacked, it's like every week you have to like absolutely freaking go off to win because there's just so many teams putting up ridiculous point totals. Anyways, what'd y'all think of Amon-Ra St. Brown? That was a little weird. Should we be worried about Evan Ingram? No, I wouldn't worry about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram was incredible last year. I know that we're moving on to another season, but just chalk it up to being week one. I wouldn't worry about Evan Ingram. I mean, this dude's going to be getting targeted a lot in this offense. Today was just really, really weird. What did he have? 1 fantasy point? I think he had 1 fantasy point. It was a terrible performance, but chalk it up to week one. I'm not going to put Evan Ingram on my bench anytime soon, unless he comes out like the next 2 or 3 weeks and does the same thing. I don't know. But as of right now, I am not going to be benching Evan Ingram. That was a weird game, man. I root for the Browns in real life, and Watson, while often under pressure, he looked bad. Oh, I know. He looked terrible. I mean, like I wish I could just come out and be like, it's all because of the Cowboys pass rush. But even when he had pass protection, he was overthrowing guys, underthrowing guys. There were a few times where bring Flacco back. Yeah. There was a few times, bro, where we have a route along the sidelines and Deshaun Watson threw it out of bounds by like 10 yards. I mean, this happened multiple times. I mean, it's like he was thrown to the players on the bench. It was absolutely insane. I still think we should give him some time. I really do. But that was extremely sloppy. I mean, he looked really bad. Not even going to lie. I mean, yeah, like from a winning standpoint and a fantasy standpoint, Flacco was like way better than Deshaun Watson last year. But Jameis Winston's the backup now. I mean, like, obviously Deshaun Watson has the huge contract, but if he plays bad for long enough, like, you got to figure they're going to bring in Jameis Winston at some point. You talking about Deshaun Watson? One more game until he gets injured? I don't know. Hard to predict injuries, bro. But yeah, it's not looking good. The way that they were just getting abused by the pass rush was really bad. But the Cowboys have a really good pass rush. I mean, Micah Parsons is an absolute monster. DeMarcus Lawrence is a monster. I mean, the Cowboys give all kinds of quarterbacks fits like that. But, man, that was terrible. I don't know. I'm personally still giving Deshaun Watson a little bit of time. That is a good question, Emily. Am I saying that right, Emily? I am actually making a buy low trade targets video tomorrow, so you'll be able to see on that video. And I wanted to do some research before I did that video, but off of the top of my head, I'm trying to think of some players that Evan Ingram's one of them. You asked about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a great buy low target right now. Chris Olave is a good buy low target right now. I mean, like I was telling people, I don't really necessarily like Chris Olave that much from a season-long standpoint just because the offense is so bad. But as bad as he did this week, there are going to be players that overreact and sell him for a ham sandwich. So you could probably get Chris Olave for like absolute. I don't want to say nothing, but like there's going to be people that really overreact because, the Saints absolutely went off and Chris Olave, I mean, like, what happened, So there's a buy low. I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. Catch my buy low trade targets video that I do tomorrow. And I'm going to include at least 7 players on that list, if not 10 players on that list in my buy low trade targets video. But, oh my gosh, yeah, buying low on MHJ. I can't believe I didn't think of that right out of the gate. Buying low on MHJ. Yeah, he was open downfield. Murray missed him. He didn't see him. He was going through his progressions and he didn't see the wide open guy for some reason. With that being said, look for Marvin Harrison Jr. to bounce back. The dude's way too talented. I'm not even remotely worried about him. It's a very fluky week 1. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably one of the best buy low candidates in all of fantasy right now. So yeah, and you could literally trade him for someone you drafted in the 5th or 6th round and get Marvin Harrison Jr., who people drafted in the 2nd round. People are very reactionary to week 1. Yeah, dude, I don't trust Drake London. I've been telling people when I've been giving people team grades, I've been kind of ripping on Drake London and people get mad at me, but we have not seen this dude produce ever. Should I expect this 40-50% snap share for Gibbs? Well, it's kind of weird, man. If you look at last season, it started the exact same way where David Montgomery was getting a very significant workload. And then as the season progressed, obviously Gibbs started to take more and more of a workload. And obviously his efficiency is really high, but it's just hard to believe that Gibbs is going to get a significantly higher snap share. I mean, Montgomery's a talented running back in his own right. And I don't know. I expected him to come out and look kind of flat because, he's an aging running back. He's got a lot of wear and tear on the tires, but he looked freaking good, man. David Montgomery looked really good, and it absolutely concerns me for Gibbs because I own 22% of Gibbs on Underdog, and yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think the snap share should go up a little bit, but I wouldn't expect any more than 60% at the absolute most anytime soon. Selling the tight end position in general, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I say give him time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do anything with him yet. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is everyone was taking Jahmyr Gibbs at the end of round 1 or the top of round 2. And being the fact that he is technically in a split backfield, it's going to be hard for him to really exceed his ADP. I mean, it's just going to be really tough. To be honest, I don't know that much about it. I mean, I know he was arrested on the way to the game. I really haven't heard much. Can you let me know kind of like some details on that? Like what exactly happened? That's the one thing today that I didn't really get a chance to dive into because I was just so focused on watching the games and taking notes on the games. But yeah, let me know some details on the Tyreek Hill situation. From Corum, Trey Benson, and Jalen Wright, should I hold them? Dude, it's so tough. Like, it certainly looks like James Conner is going to be the absolute workhorse in this offense, right? For the Cardinals. So, I don't know, man. But, like, it's also week 1. Honestly, like, if you're not a Kyren owner, I would drop Corum over Trey Benson or Jalen Wright. I would keep Jalen Wright and Trey Benson and drop Corum unless you're a Kyren owner because then you kind of need the cuff, you know? Andrews outscored Mike Kincaid. Yeah, that's rough, man. Like you probably saw that. I'm sorry, man. That's just absolutely brutal. Kincaid just laid an absolute egg, man. I don't know what's wrong. I'm 114 and he's 113. I have Kittle and he has Moody for tomorrow. Best of luck, George. Could go either way. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where you just expect to win. You know, you see Mark Andrews just do absolutely nothing. And you have an elite, which should be an elite tight end in Dalton Kincaid. And somebody actually asked me the other day, like, who my prediction for the tight end 1 was this season. And I told them Dalton Kincaid because I wanted to make kind of a bold take. And after week 1, that looks terrible. But I still think that Dalton Kincaid's going to break out this year. He's a guy that is kind of Travis Kelce-esque as far as his physical tools. And he's in a very good offense. We got to see what's going on with Josh Allen, though, in his hand situation. I know he hurt his non-throwing hand, and we got to see how serious it is. Does anybody have any updates on the Josh Allen situation, by the way? Like, do they know how serious his hand injury is yet? Let me know in the chat if you know anything that I don't. Welcome in, everybody. We got some more people filing on in. Let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about Cooper Kupp being the most valuable player in fantasy again. I drafted a lot of Kincaid or McBride. Well, I don't think that's going to disappoint you, bro. I still think that these two tight ends are going to be very, very good. You know, it's hard. It's hard not to overreact to week 1 because it's all we have to go by. But like, if you look at McBride's role in his offense, there is almost no way he busts. And if you look at Kincaid's role in his offense, there's almost no way he busts. I don't see either of these tight ends not producing this year. It was just a little bit slow of a week 1, but I wouldn't let that get you down. Are you saying you drafted a lot of them on Underdog? Yeah, Emily, that's what I'm saying. Drop Corum. I don't know that Corum's going to hold value this season. Yeah, and a few redrafts too. Yeah, man, to be honest with you, I have drafted a lot of both of those tight ends as well. I mean, just the value. Those tight ends were going in round 5 in Underdog drafts. I couldn't not take them. Like, they were just way too good of value not to take. We got the Cooper Kupp owners in here. The dude had freaking 21 targets. 21 targets for Cooper Kupp. I'm just like, I was watching that game just absolutely in awe of what was happening. I just couldn't believe it. But then again, I could because this dude's notoriously been a target hog. Like, ever since that 2021 season when he broke out, they just target him so much. And when Puka Nacua went down, it was just all Cooper Kupp. It was the Cooper Kupp show. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing is and he was going in round 4 of Underdog drafts in the early part of the offseason. Like in pre-draft best ball, Cooper Kupp was going in round 4 because he was just coming off a bust season where he was injured the whole season. And everybody at the beginning of, like, when the big board came out on Underdog Fantasy, everybody was drafting Puka Nacua at the 106, and they were drafting Cooper Kupp in round 4. And now it looks like Cooper Kupp is the better player to own because now Puka's not even on the field, which is crazy. My 2 victories were mostly because Kupp. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're in a PPR league, this dude comes out and has 14 receptions. I mean, like, what an insane difference maker. You know, he's got the possibility. He's got the possibility this year to be the biggest difference-making player in all of fantasy. And that's awesome considering the fact that you got him in round 4. It's like the 2021 season. In the 2021 season, he got drafted in round 4, sometimes round 5. You know, I remember because I drafted him in a lot of leagues that year, and he exploded, and it won me a lot of my leagues. I mean, he's a player that can single-handedly win you leagues. File on in, everybody. Let me know how week 1 went for you. You're saying that Cooper Kupp is the weirdest wide receiver 1 ever? Oh, yeah, that was an insanely weird week 1. Like, it all started with the Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews thing. Like, I mean, we just come out and we have, you know, who's supposed to be the backup tight end, come out and get like 21 and a half fantasy points from a half PPR perspective. And Mark Andrews just does absolutely nothing. And then the whole week 1 just kind of followed that trend. Like, at the noon games, the Patriots come out and just beat the hell out of the Bengals. The Bengals can't even move the ball. They looked helpless. They looked terrible. I think the Cowboys beating the Browns the way they did. Yeah, lots of injuries too. Njoku, Ferguson. Yeah. I mean, Puka Nacua, you know. It looked like Matt Stafford came up like hobbled a few times. I was really worried about that because, like, I'm relying heavily on Cooper Kupp this season. I own 19% of him on Underdog Fantasy, and I got him a lot of times in round 4. And so I'm relying on Matt Stafford staying healthy. So every time he gets hobbled, I get nervous. But looks like he was okay. And unfortunately, Puka Nacua gets hurt. I don't root for injuries. It's good for my best ball teams, actually, that Puka got hurt because I drafted very few of them in the first round, and I drafted a lot of Cooper Kupp. But I certainly don't root for injuries. It's not something I do. No, I don't have Cooper Kupp in our subscriber league. Who has Cooper Kupp? I don't remember who has Cooper Kupp in our subscriber league, but I don't have him. Somebody sniped him. I was gonna draft him in like round 4 where he's normally going, and somebody sniped him in I think round 2 of our draft, bro. And maybe it was round 3, but somebody sniped him like way before his ESPN ADP. Yeah, Emily, there was a lot of injuries. Kels, you did. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, Jameson Williams, man, goodness gracious. Nico isn't that big of a surprise for me, but Jameson Williams, man, I mean, he looks so explosive. I mean, like, he's 100 times more explosive than Amon-Ra St. Brown. I still think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be the main target hog despite what we saw today, but Jameson Williams was getting targeted. He had a very healthy target share, and he looked incredibly explosive. And we know what kind of talent he is. He's obviously a guy that can make huge plays. He can bust multiple 30-plus yard touchdowns on a weekly basis, and he's got that kind of upside. And today we saw it. It was awesome. I drafted weird on that 8 team, shaking my head. Yeah, I mean, well, it's an 8-man league. Everybody drafts weird in an 8-man league. You actually have to change your strategies a little bit, and like, I don't know, like, the teams just end up being so stacked, bro, that it's just a different kind of league, 8-man leagues, Yeah, Nico Collins certainly looks like he's the wide receiver 1 in the Texans offense. Obviously, Diggs had the 2 touchdowns, but Nico was getting all the targets. He was making all the big plays. It certainly looks like Nico Collins is the wide receiver 1 for the Texans. And Kels22 tried to tell me that, and I tried to argue with him. Dude, I'm not gonna be one that like defends my takes after I'm wrong. Now it is only week 1, but both players looked very good, and Nico Collins looked borderline unstoppable. I mean, he was making so many contested catches, and he was the clear target hog. So I can't even sit here and be like, no. I don't think JMO's. I mean, if you're talking about like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get targets, Sam Laporta is going to get targets, but Jameson Williams looked really good today, and they've been raving about him all preseason. Yeah, I mean, I know. I know. Like, technically, yes, he's the 4th option, but if you watch that game today, like, it's just hard not to believe that they're not going to be targeting him going forward. Like, I can see him getting 6-7 targets a game going forward. Yes, Nico is a beast. Did he get 9 targets today? I knew he was targeted pretty heavily, but 9 targets, man. That is a very good sign for Jameson Williams. And this is a guy that they were talking up all preseason, all throughout camp. Like, it turns out that they probably weren't just blowing smoke. This is a very good wide receiver and a very good offense. So he could be dangerous. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just week 1. We don't want to overreact too much. Like, for example, like, I don't want to panic on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a great buy low candidate right now. Like, if you could buy low on Amon-Ra St. Brown just of him not performing in week 1, that would be amazing. What to do with Kincaid? I think you just have to hold Kincaid. I mean, you can't sell him. He has no real like sell high value right now. You drafted him probably in round 5. He comes out, he gets 1 fantasy point, right? So I think you just have to hold Kincaid for now, bro. Like, there's just not really anything you can do with him. If he had like a decent game, or like, at least got you a few fantasy points, like maybe you could sell him. But Rams were bad last season against tight ends and decent against the deep. It flipped today. I give you Shaheed for Kincaid. I do that in a heartbeat. I don't think anybody would fall for that though. Like, I don't think anybody's taking Shaheed for Kincaid, but you never know. I mean, it could happen. That's the thing about trades that I figured out, is you just have to keep like trying, like, because when I send somebody a trade, I'm trying to smash the trade. I'm trying to blow them out of the water. I'm not trying to really send them anything that's close. I'm trying to get somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing to kind of fall for a trade that's bad for them and good for me. So sometimes you have to send like 10 or 15 of those trade offers for one of them to work. But like, I'm a beast on the trade market. I am constantly sending out trades and offers to people. People probably get annoyed because I'm sending so many trade offers, but I don't care, because when I land at one, it's a smash. Marvin Harrison owners are pissed. Yes, they are. What a ridiculous underperformance for Marvin Harrison Jr. I really couldn't believe the fact that he comes out and he gets 1.4 fantasy points. The dude only saw 3 targets and could have made a big play, but Kyler Murray, his head was in the clouds or something. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened, but I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to bounce back. One league traded Worthy for Kincaid. Oh, you already got the deal done? You traded what? I like that trade. I mean, obviously Worthy had a great week 1, but Worthy only had 3 touches in week 1. So, like, I don't know. Like, is he going to come out and be that consistent every week? I don't think so. It looks like Rashee Rice is the guy from a target share perspective. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you won that trade 100%. Kincaid will be a bigger difference-making player this year than Xavier Worthy by a long shot, I think. Someone else got Kincaid. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you talking about in our subscriber league? Oh, okay. Yeah, The Jags-Dolphins game was just a weird game. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. gets in there with a touchdown. That was good to see, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like last year, I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars were the hardest offense to predict because like 1 week it was all about Christian Kirk. 1 week it was all about Calvin Ridley. 1 week it's all about Evan Ingram. And it's just so incredibly hard to put a finger on like who the guy is in that offense. They offered me trades for Kincaid, but I kept Kincaid. Yeah. I mean, you have to keep Kincaid. Kincaid's going to have a monster season. I still think he's going to be the main target hog in the offense. A main target hog in a Josh Allen-led offense, an offense that's going to be putting a lot of points on the board, you can't trade him. Who cares if he had a bad week 1? I'm just going to brush that off. He could have a bad week 2 and 3, and I'm still keeping him. I'm not doing anything with Dalton Kincaid anytime soon other than just keeping him in my lineup. The worst thing I would do is drop him to my bench, but I certainly wouldn't try to trade him or anything. You can't even get anything for him right now because he just had a terrible week 1. So just keep him. All right, we got some more y'all rolling in. Hit me with your fantasy questions. What'd you think about week 1? What trade questions do you have? Lineup questions do you have? What to do with players? Hit me with as many questions as you want, and I'll answer in detail. Man, that was a fun week 1. So much like I feel like so much has like already changed. You know, like if you look at like your opinion on players going into the season and your opinion on players now, things have already changed significantly. I mean, like who would you rather have rest of season, Ja'Marr Chase or Cooper Kupp? And really think about that question. Rest of season, Ja'Marr Chase or Cooper Kupp? Because, you know, before the season, 100% of people would have told you Ja'Marr Chase. And now, just 1 week into the season, we might have completely shifted our opinion on the difference between those two players. I'm glad you didn't draft too much Kirk. I didn't draft too much Kirk either, bro. Your most drafted wide receiver was Chris Godwin. That's funny that you say that, bro, because do you know who my most drafted wide receiver is? It's Chris Godwin. I own 27% of him on Underdog, and Gibbs is my next owned player at 22%. So, like, I own a ridiculous market share of Chris Godwin, and so that's funny that you say that. And he had a good week 1. I mean, he looked good. The Bucs offense looked really good. Now, granted, it was against the Commanders defense, who's, you know, just absolutely terrible. But hey, great week 1. Mike Evans looked awesome. Is Mike Evans ever going to fall off? Like, is Mike Evans ever going to, like, is Father Time ever going to make Mike Evans not good at football? I'm saying, like, I don't see Mike Evans ever falling off. Every year it's like, oh, this is the year that he's going to fall off. And then he just goes off. And he's had a 1,000 receiving yard season every year since being in the NFL. And he's probably going to do it again this year. And he's a touchdown machine. He's just unguardable in the red zone because of his size and contested catch abilities. Yeah, I remember that. I think that was week 17, right? That he scored like 50 points. He went absolutely nuclear. I'm pretty sure that was week 17 in 2022. Yeah, everybody, hit me with your fantasy football questions, whatever you got. I think so, yeah. Yeah. Man, I hope Josh Allen's okay. Like, you know, he obviously had the 30-point game. You know, of the golden trio of quarterbacks up top, you know, Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the only one who really showed up and did what he was supposed to do given the draft capital that we spent on those quarterbacks. But I hope he's all right, man. Does anybody know anything about the Josh Allen injury? I wouldn't panic on Jalen Hurts, bro. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be just fine. There's still, like, obviously they're using Saquon on the goal line, but Jalen Hurts is still going to get his rushing touchdowns. Look for him to still have, I don't think he's going to have 15 like he did last year, but look for him to have something like, I don't know, 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns still. I'd be very surprised if they didn't use him in the red zone at least a little bit more as far as running the ball. No more tush push. No, they were doing the tush push, bro. They did the tush push a couple times. Now, they didn't do it like in the red zone, but they did do it like to get first downs. So they were still doing the tush push. Yeah. File on in, everybody. We got some more people rolling in. Appreciate you guys coming into the podcast. I'm Bryce Lockridge, host of Crushing Fantasy Football. Drop your questions below. What'd you think about week 1? What'd you think about Aaron Jones, Cooper Kupp, all these guys that went off? What'd y'all think about the Bengals? Man, the Bengals look so bad. They look so bad. Yeah, I'm glad, though, because I have a good amount of Aaron Jones on Underdog. I actually drafted a lot of them. I have like 19% Aaron Jones. I just thought the value was too good given his inherent ceiling because of his extreme efficiency. The dude is one of the most efficient running backs of all time. Definitely one of the most efficient running backs in the league. It's just like we were scared about the Minnesota offense and their overall efficiency, but it looks like they're going to be decent. I don't know. Again, it's just week 1, and they played the freaking Giants, but Aaron Jones did look good. You have 0 shares of A.J. Brown. That's not good. You probably should have drafted some A.J. Brown, but it's all right. I don't have that many shares. I have like 8%. I have an 8% market share of A.J. Brown, so. All right, we got some more people rolling in. Hit me with your questions, everybody. So some good buy lows. Somebody asked me earlier about buy lows. I think it was Emily. I don't think they're still in here, but buy lows or Amon-Ra. Oh, you don't have Aaron Jones in one league. I got you. Amon-Ra, Marvin Harrison, Evan Ingram. Those are like some of my favorite buy lows off the top of my head. And again, I'm doing a buy low trade targets video tomorrow. So that's going to be dropping around like noon tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier. So make sure y'all tune in for that. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be doing trade target videos every single Monday. So what would I give for Marvin Harrison Jr.? Rashid Shaheed. No, I'm just playing. Nobody's going to do that. That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I want to say like Ramondre Stevenson, because Ramondre Stevenson had a big week 1, but he's playing in an offense that's still going to be really bad. And from a season-long standpoint, Marvin Harrison Jr. should blow him out of the water. So the first person that comes to my mind is Ramondre Stevenson. So if you have Ramondre on your roster, I would trade him for Marvin Harrison Jr. in a heartbeat. File on in, everybody. Absolutely not. I just I don't know. I don't like to sell players coming off bad games. It's just a bad time to sell. And no, I will not be selling Amon-Ra St. Brown. I still think he's going to be awesome. Yeah. I'm not selling Amon-Ra St. Brown. I still think he's going to be by far and away the highest scoring wide receiver in his offense. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to overreact to week 1. Amon-Ra should be fine. He'll probably come out next game and have like 9 receptions on 12 targets and get you 23 fantasy points. I'm not going to lie. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. The dude's a beast. He's proved it over the years. Hit me with your fantasy football questions, everybody, as many as you want. Debo and Drake London for Amon-Ra? No way. The way I look at that trade is I don't like Drake London whatsoever. So, I wouldn't consider trading him for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And obviously, Debo's a very good wide receiver, but I don't know, man. I'm just not giving up Amon-Ra, bro. There's no way. Now, Debo goes nuclear tomorrow. It might slightly change my mind, but nah. It's only week 1 anyway. I'm not really gonna make any trades after week 1. It's just a little bit too early. But I know that some people like the trade. Yep. Agreed. Never trade out of emotion. 100%. A lot of people do that. Like, a player will do bad and they'll get pissed off and they'll trade them. And it's like, not your week. What up, Andre? Hey, glad you made it in, bro. Not your week. Andre, how many leagues are you in again? Yeah, some people definitely would have accepted that, especially after Amon-Ra having a bad week 1. And if Debo goes nuclear tomorrow, then yes, a ton of people will accept that trade, but it's still a bad trade. 3 you really care about, Andre? All right. Well, luckily it's week 1. What exactly went wrong for you? Did you have some injuries or just bad luck? Oof. Yeah, obviously those two guys vastly underperformed. That wasn't fun, but it's just week 1. I don't know about Mark Andrews, bro. I'm a little bit concerned about him, but I am not even remotely concerned about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Andrews greater than Kincaid. I disagree 100% ever with you on that one. I don't think that Andrews is going to have a better season than Dalton Kincaid. T. Higgins not playing screwed me too. I had to start Kirk. You had to start Kirk, and then that was an absolute disaster. On week 1, ever. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying rest of season. You kind of want to package T and Kirk for a monstrous receiver. I don't know. I think you need one of them to do something first. People don't like Christian Kirk right now. Bro, you were right about Kincaid. No, I was not right about Kincaid. I said that Dalton Kincaid was going to be the tight end 1 on the season, so he's off to a bad start. But I'm not remotely worried about it. I think he's going to bounce back. I'm not panicking on Dalton Kincaid whatsoever. He's a target hog and a great offense. It just wasn't his day. Same, you had to start Tyjae Spears because Higgins was out. Thoughts on Courtland Sutton rest of season? I like Courtland Sutton. Obviously, the Broncos game today was a little bit lower scoring than oh, yeah. Yeah. Coleman came through. How many receiving yards did Coleman have again? 55? Would I trade Aaron Jones for Travis Etienne? Dude, it's tough. I don't know. Aaron Jones looked really freaking good, but Travis Etienne is probably locked in for more volume. And the Jacksonville offense is more of a sure thing with Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback. So I probably would trade Aaron Jones for Travis Etienne, yes. Aaron Jones is a decent sell high candidate right now. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not saying I don't like him rest of season, but if you're going to get somebody like Travis Etienne, who's going to be a workhorse in an offense with an actually good quarterback, I'm going to be making that trade all day long. Marv owners are panicking. Yeah, they are. If Jones can stay healthy, it's way closer than people think. Yeah, I mean, it is close. But, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision one way or another on a trade. And I'm 65% on the Travis Etienne side, 35% on the Aaron Jones side. I'm just bigger on Travis Etienne, so I'm still pulling the trigger on that trade. Yeah, I know. I mean, they said that Tank Bigsby was going to have a bigger role this year. They said that in training camp. So we kind of knew that was coming, but Etienne's still going to have a massive workload. There's still going to be weeks where Etienne carries the ball 20-plus times. My teams did all right. Let's see. I'm in 13 leagues, and for sure, I've already won 6 of my matchups. And I have a lot of matchups coming down to Monday Night Football. There's a few leagues where I got smoked. It happens. You're in 13 leagues. You're not going to win every single one of them. But I already have 6 wins locked up, and hopefully more after tomorrow night. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Somebody was asking me about kickers the other day, and I said Brandon Aubrey is hands down the best kicker you can own because he's in a very high-powered offense, and he's just an incredible kicker. I mean, the dude is he's absolutely unbelievable. He's like the new Justin Tucker, basically. He really is. I dropped a lot of Henry, and I'm worried how he looked despite the touchdown. Yeah, I'm very concerned about Derrick Henry, bro. He just doesn't look as explosive. He's obviously playing behind a very young, inexperienced, banged-up Ravens offensive line that is just they're not blocking for him. He's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. You know, how's he supposed to run? He's also 30 years old. You know, age cliff typically hits running backs around like the age of 28. This dude is 30 freaking years old. He was due to fall off a cliff at some point, and I think this year is the year, bro. I think this year is the year that Derrick Henry just falls off. Aubrey is a league winner. It's funny to call a kicker a league winner, but, bro, like, you're on to something there. He's saying, yeah, he does. He hits 50. Am I worried about Josh Jacobs? Nah, not even remotely. Now, obviously, as long as Jordan Love is not in this offense, the offense isn't going to be as good, but that means they're probably just going to lean on Josh Jacobs more. To me, whether you have Love or no Love, Josh Jacobs is a viable option every single week. I mean, yeah, like he certainly gave you running back 1 numbers this week. So now that Puka is injured, CD is my wide receiver 1. Do I start London or Reed? Neighbors is my flex. That's a good question. As long as Malik Willis is the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, I am not going to start Jayden Reed. I know that that's kind of hard after week 1, but Jayden Reed isn't really necessarily a volume hog. He's very big play dependent, which as long as you have Jordan Love, that's fine because those two can connect on the deep ball, and that's Jayden Reed's bread and butter. But as long as Jordan Love's not the quarterback, I'm going to be playing Drake London over Jayden Reed, despite the fact that obviously Jayden Reed had a way better week 1. Next year, Aubrey in round 4 or 5. Okay, Ever, you just crossed the line, bro. Not 4. That's too much. It's too much. Kirk looked bad, man. Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's certainly a possibility that Brian Thomas Jr. just ends up being the guy in this offense. There were a lot of analysts going into the season that thought that was going to be the case. So it could very well be. I mean, keep in mind that Christian Kirk was never really a true wide receiver 1 in Arizona. Everybody was surprised when he got his contract, and he's mainly been good in Jacksonville because he's been the wide receiver 1 on the depth chart, but the dude is not that good. Christian Kirk is not that good. Brian Thomas Jr. has a way higher career ceiling. So, you know, it's certainly possible that Kirk is a dud this year. Do you think there's any chance of all Penix Jr. comes out earlier than we think? It's always possible. I don't know. It's really hard to see them benching Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been such a reliable quarterback over the past like 5-6 years that it's hard for me to see any team benching Kirk Cousins. But if they start losing games and they feel like they need to turn things around, they did spend first-round draft capital on him, and they drafted him for a reason because they wanted him for an insurance policy. So I think it's certainly possible that Michael Penix Jr. gets on the field. I don't want to say that it's likely, but it's certainly possible. Do you think Jordan Love is my starter, and I have Goff as a backup? Do I drop Dowdle and or one of those quarterbacks to get someone like Baker? Yeah, I mean, you can. I wouldn't drop either quarterback right now, but I don't mind dropping Rico Dowdle. I don't think that Rico Dowdle has any value this season. I mean, Zeke looked like he's the absolute clear-cut starter, and I don't think that this Cowboys run game is going to be good whatsoever. And I also don't think that Rico Dowdle is that good of a player. Kirk last year gave me 0 points week 1, then delivered 21 points week 2. Yeah, I remember because it was the Calvin Ridley show on week 1 last year. What do you think of White and Irving today? White is still raking in so many receptions. Yeah, Rachaad White thrives on that. I mean, like, his yards per carry efficiency last year was terrible, but he survived on receptions. I'm still not that big on Rachaad White from a season-long standpoint, but I said going into this game that Rachaad White's going to be a good sell-high candidate after week 1. Yeah. But keep in mind that the Washington Commanders have, like, hands down, and it's not even close, the worst running defense in the NFL. Because that's what you have to do. You have to sell players that are coming off big games. That's the whole concept behind selling high. Is like you want to sell a player coming off a big game that you feel like isn't going to continue that production. So that's why I was saying sell them high after week one. You know, if they produce in week one, it doesn't mean they're going to do that for the rest of the season. You have to look at the matchup. The matchup was so juicy for him. I was saying sell high on Rachaad White after week one. I think that's probably what we should do. The yards per carry efficiency for him is not good. Obviously, the offense looked very good today, but I think that the Washington Redskins or the Commanders, whatever you call them, are a big reason for that. Would you try to move him coming off a big game like that? Like Kamara. Yeah, Kamara is a PPR cheat code. Jaden Daniels, though. Yeah. Jaden Daniels will be good in this league, bro. Jaden Daniels will be good. All right, everybody, hit me with your fantasy questions, as many as you got. White, Kamara are my running backs. I want a stronger running back one, though. Are you buying McLaurin? Yes, I am buying Terry McLaurin. I'm actually sold on the Washington offense this year. I think they're going to be good. I really do. Obviously, they got annihilated week one. Chalk it up to week one, whatever you want to call it. I am definitely buying low on Terry McLaurin. And, in fact, I'm going to include him in my buy low videos tomorrow. White, Kamara on my running back ones. I want a stronger running back one, though. Kamara is a way better option than Rachaad White. I know that you drafted Rachaad White probably higher. With that being said, Kamara is your best running back, hands down. The dude is a PPR cheat code, just like Ever said. Mostert did not look good today. I mean, well, he wasn't used that much. And his efficiency was poor. Xavier, in a heartbeat. I would trade Xavier Worthy for Terry McLaurin in 2 seconds. Now, obviously, Xavier Worthy's in a better offense, but the fact of the matter is Terry McLaurin is going to be a target hog in his offense with no Jahan Dotson, and the offense is going to come around at some point. And if you look at just the raw volume, Terry McLaurin has a chance to literally double what Xavier Worthy gets in overall targets this season. So I would trade him for Terry McLaurin in a heartbeat. Yeah. Good to see some more of you rolling in. Ask away. Ask all your fantasy football questions. We're going to be here as long as you guys want. Well, not really. I have to sleep at some point. But, hey, I'm enjoying talking about football right now. So I'm going to stay in here as long as we get the chat going and keep the chat going. So ask away. Fire away your fantasy football questions. What kind of running back would you go for in a white Puka package? What kind of running back would I go for in a white Puka package? You're stacked at receiver. Well, Kenneth Walker would be a good one. Same time. Jinx, bro. Jinx. I think we both agree on Kenneth Walker right there. Kenneth Walker's awesome, man. He's just got that big playability, you know. So good in open space. Yeah, how did we do that? We literally just came up with the exact running back at the exact same time. File on in, everybody. Ask away all your fantasy football questions, whatever you have about week one. What'd you think? File on in. Ask away. Yeah, I know. Kenneth Walker, I did. I was thinking of shooting for the stars. There's no way anybody's going to do that, bro. Nobody's going to do that. You're crazy, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, nobody's going to do that, bro. Now, I always recommend trying, you know. White London might be, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, Puka holds more value than London as long as his injury isn't too serious. So if it's not going to work with Puka, it's not going to work with London either. I don't think you're getting Gibbs for that, bro. I don't think anybody does that. They'd be crazy to do that. Now, you can try it. I don't think it's going to work. Good to see some more of you coming in. Ask away. As many fantasy football questions as you want. We're here all night. Or I guess it's morning now, but, you know. The owner has JT and Gibbs. Yeah, he's not going to do that. Like, there's just no way. I just don't see that happening. I don't know about that. I mean, like, I think HN has a pretty high ceiling. Trades are guaranteed. Would you rather trade? Hypothetically, if both trades were guaranteed, would you rather me trade Aaron Jones for ETN or Aaron Jones and either Marquise Brown for Zach Moss and Kenneth Walker? Well, I would rather have you trade Aaron Jones and Marquise Brown for Zach Moss and Kenneth Walker for sure, because I think that Kenneth Walker is the best player in this trade. And I would trade Aaron Jones straight up for Kenneth Walker. Marquise Brown is hurt right now. We don't know what kind of target share he's going to see when he gets back. Zach Moss actually looked pretty good this week. I would much rather do Aaron Jones and Marquise Brown. And yeah, that's a much better trade for you. HN looked amazing. I wouldn't say that Marquise Brown holds zero value. He obviously holds zero value right now. When he comes back, like, he does have somewhat of a weekly ceiling. I mean, he's a fast, talented receiver in the Chiefs offense. I just don't think that they're going to – I think that they're going to spread the ball around like they normally do. And considering the fact that they're going to spread the ball around, Marquise Brown, you're just guessing on which week he goes off. So I'm going to trade him. I actually really like that trade for you. Zogdog, I really like that trade. Dirtbagged. I'm sorry, man. Kincaid lost a lot of people this week. Kincaid lost a lot of people their week. It was pretty disappointing. So get this. In my biggest money league, I have Dalton Kincaid and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the same team, but the rest of my team went absolutely nuclear. So it's like I had Aaron Jones, I had James Conner. My defense got me 21 points. I started Minnesota defense. I had Josh Allen give me 30 points from the quarterback position. And yet I had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Dalton Kincaid, and my matchup is very close. If Rice is the new Kelsey, I mean, from a target perspective, he can be. I mean, they're not the same kind of player, obviously, but like from a target share perspective, he could have a similar target share to Travis Kelsey for sure. He could have one big game like Worthy and it skyrockets. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, Dirtbag. That sucks. The guy playing next week has AR5, Saquon, and HN. Yikes. I wouldn't worry about it. What are the odds of both those players going off again in week 2? I don't know their matchups off the top of my head, though, but I don't know, man. Saquon looks really damn good. I mean, Saquon, like, you know, if you were drafting today, ask yourself this question. Where would you take Saquon Barkley if you were drafting right now? Well, yeah, he probably won't do 30. Well, you can say that about any player that scores 30 points in a week. If they score 30 points in a week, odds are they're not going to do it again a second week in a row. But it doesn't mean that he can't come out and have 23 to 25 points, and he still has that 30-point ceiling. I mean, it's possible. Saquon plays Atlanta. AR5 plays Green Bay. Yeah, Zogdog, you know I got you, man. Ask me as many trade questions as you possibly have. I love answering trade questions. They're fun. Left all 3 drafts with Pacheco, Rice, and Worthy. Literally locked the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean they all performed in week 1. That's for certain. Yeah, my favorite player on this list is Rashee Rice. I just love to see the target share. I mean, he came out and he had like 9 targets. They were targeting him right out of the gate. I mean, he's no Cooper Kupp coming out and getting 21 targets, but Rashee Rice is a very valuable fantasy asset. And Xavier Worthy obviously has a very high weekly ceiling and big playability in a Pat Mahomes-led offense. I traded Rice, and I'm sick about it. That sucks, Andre. You might need counseling after that one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, dude, it happens. Like, I punted wide receiver, left with Rice. Wide receiver 1, round 6. Goodness gracious. You must have been drafting a lot of running backs, bro. Rice round 6 only because of the suspension, and I didn't draft him. Shaking my head. That was – oh, yeah, absolutely. But, like, if you look at Rashee Rice's ADP, like, when the big board opened, the first underdog draft, Rashee Rice was going in the second round. And then when he had the suspension, he dropped all the way to like the 7th round. And then he went back up to like round 4. And then he went back to round 5. His ADP was hopping around all over the place all offseason. Seems like James Cook is going to get fed a lot this year. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on James Cook, bro, at the 107. Am I sold on Buffalo? Buffalo as a whole, absolutely. Any Josh Allen-led offense, yeah, is at like the 107 legit for Saquon. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Zogdog, is like if like Saquon was going like as pick like 18, 19, and now after just one game, most people would draft him. Most people would draft him at the beginning of the first round. I'll tell you that right now. Most people would take Saquon as a top 5 overall pick if everyone drafted again today. So that's what amazes me is like 1 week in fantasy can change everyone's opinion. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I think that Saquon should be a round 1 pick. But I kind of thought that going into the season already. Yeah, Andre, I'm totally sold on Buffalo, bro. I think Buffalo goes off all season. Josh Allen made Stephon Diggs more than Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen. I'm very much on the Josh Allen side of that argument. I think Keon Coleman's going to be really good. I think Keon Coleman's going to have a good rookie season. I think that Dalton Kincaid is going to pick things up. I think that both of those pass catchers are going to be very viable fantasy options. Yeah, but Diggs' touchdowns were – I'm not saying that Stephon Diggs isn't a good wide receiver. I've always liked Stephon Diggs. I thought that when he was on the Vikings, he was criminally underrated. So I like Stephon Diggs. And, yeah, he looked good today with the 2 touchdowns. I'm just saying that, like, if I have to pick one side, Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs, certainly they made each other, right? But – like, I think Josh Allen was like 70% of the contributing factor, and Stephon Diggs was maybe like 30%, or maybe like 60-40. Either way, I'm slightly more on the side of Josh Allen. Let's talk about my guys, Ken Walker and Brian Robinson, and say, oh my gosh, yeah. And I knew Brian Robinson was a massive steal going into the draft. I knew Kenneth Walker was a massive steal. I could not believe these guys' ADP, and they both showed up in week 1. It's very good to see. And Dirt Bagdom, I hope you have them on your team. I hope you started both of them. Man, Nico might be a problem. Nico was the one today. I don't know. I certainly think that this Texans offense is going to be an offense that spreads the ball around like crazy. I think it's going to be a different guy every week. 1 week it's going to be Diggs. 1 week it's going to be Nico. 1 week it's going to be Tank Dell. It's just that kind of offense. All those wide receivers are too talented to not have breakout weeks. It's going to be a different guy every week. Yeah, Mixon shocked me as well. But Mixon had 30 carries. I mean, if you come out and get 30 carries, like, you're going to have a good week. And he averaged over 5 yards a pop. Rushed for over 150 yards. Dude was absolutely amazing. You have Mixon in the 8. Who are the main players you're selling high right now? Selling high right now, Rashid Shaheed. Cooper Kupp. No, I'm just playing. Don't sell Cooper Kupp. Don't sell Cooper Kupp. That's a joke. Who else am I selling high right now? I'm trying to think, like, who had a ridiculous week 1. Is it Rachaad White? Honestly, Jayden Reed. Like, because, like, for the next 4 weeks, he isn't going to have Jordan Love. And even when Jordan Love comes back, I bet you that that's Jayden Reed's biggest game of the entire season. Yeah, Shaheed is just like a big play dependent wide receiver that's not going to get a whole lot of volume. So it's like he's a guy who has to make a big play to produce in fantasy, and I don't like that. Would you accept Kupp for hypothetically speaking? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Kupp got 21 targets today. I mean, like, 21 targets. That's absolutely ridiculous. That means that even if Puka Nacua comes back, he's probably still getting 13 or 14 targets a game. And you saw even before Puka went down, they were targeting him early and often, and they were targeting him more than Puka Nacua. Thoughts on Chase since he looked bad? Well, keep in mind that since he looked bad at the beginning of the season last year as well. So I don't know. I just think they're getting off to a slow start. Joe Burrow's hair might be distracting him. I don't know what it is. You know, he dyed that hair, and then Jamar Chase cut his hair, and then all of a sudden they're not the same. But no, to be honest with you, bro, I think they will bounce back massively. Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase are both way too good of players to not bounce back. Who should I try and go get with Rashid Shaheed? Well, you have to keep in mind that you don't want to have your expectations too high on Rashid Shaheed because, like, yes, you're selling him high because he had a good week, but he's still not that desirable of a player, you know? So selling him after this week, I mean, you could maybe get somebody like I want to say Marvin Harrison Jr., but there's no way. Dalton Kincaid would be a good one. Rashid Shaheed for Dalton Kincaid. I'd do that in a heartbeat. And people are panicking on Dalton Kincaid, bro. They're full on panic mode. Burrow always turns up against Kansas City. Burrow just turns up randomly. Like it's weird. Like if you look at Ja'Marr Chase's career in fantasy, like he's always been a low floor, high ceiling player. Like he has weeks where he's just a total bust, and he has weeks where he'll give you 45 fantasy points in a PPR league. So, you know, when you total the points at the end of the season, it looked like he probably went off every week, but really he had games where he gave you 8 fantasy points and games where he gave you 45 fantasy points. I want to see the target share go up, and I want to see a little bit more consistency from Ja'Marr Chase, but the dude's going to have crazy point totals. He's going to have massive weeks, and they're probably coming soon. We have a 3-year sample size on Ja'Marr Chase. The dude is the guy. Don't worry about a bad week 1. Yeah, Kyler wasn't even looking his way. Should I sell Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison Jr., Metcalf, Tyjae Spears, Kincaid? Well, right now you can't really sell Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, I guess you can, but like people are down on him after week 1. His value absolutely plummeted from when you drafted him. So you're going to be selling a player that has way less value than what you drafted him at. So you're going to be having to downgrade if you trade him. So I don't like trading Marvin Harrison Jr. I would actually trade for Terry McLaurin and not sell him. And should you sell Kincaid? Absolutely not. Metcalf, you can sell Metcalf. I'm not that big on DK Metcalf, right? Like, I feel like he's always overdrafted, so you can sell him based on the hype. There's a lot of hype around DK Metcalf because of his physical build and the physicality that he plays with, and the fact that he's just like a big athletic-looking guy. People are like, oh, me get DK Metcalf, but they're not really thinking about the fact that he's never really that good at fantasy. Keep Smitty or go for a better wide receiver too. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this, but who's Smitty? Mark should have a very good game versus the Rams. Yeah. Rice and CD are my other starters. Reed and Dell on the bench in this league. Oh, Devontae Smith. No, bro, Devontae Smith is going to be good. He's in a good offense. I mean, like, there's going to be weeks where Devontae Smith is the guy and A.J. Brown is not. I mean, like, the only thing that made the difference this week is A.J. Brown made a big play. Devontae Smith has the ability to get open downfield just like A.J. Brown, and he's going to have some massive weeks. So, yeah, I'm keeping Devontae Smith, bro. Would not sell him. Any more trade questions you guys got? Did I draft Chase this year? I own about 9% Ja'Marr Chase on Underdog, and I did not draft him in any one of my 13 leagues. Not because I don't like Ja'Marr Chase, but it was never the right spot to draft him. I just feel like there was better players around him to draft whenever I was in the range where I should draft Ja'Marr Chase. And I also got the number 1 and 2 pick a lot. So I was taking a lot of Christian McCaffrey and Breece Hall and CeeDee Lamb. So I just was never really able to take Ja'Marr Chase. Yeah, JD5 is going to be good in the NFL, bro. JD5 is an incredible pocket passer. We saw that in college. We know that he has elite rushing upside. The dude is going to be an awesome dual threat quarterback one day. He's going to be great. Not on my team. Just want to know what you feel about Malik Neighbors. I feel like he's last year's Olave. I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, what you have with Malik Neighbors is you have an incredible talent. You have an incredibly explosive player who is playing in a bad offense. So, yeah, Chris Olave is a very good comparison because Chris Olave is an incredibly explosive player playing in a bad offense. Malik Neighbors, incredibly explosive player playing in a bad offense. He certainly could be last year's Chris Olave. You prefer Neighbors over Olave? I don't know about that, man. I'm not so sure. Any early props you like for Monday Night Football? I haven't even checked any prop bets whatsoever. I have 0 shares of Olave in 3 years. Yeah. Andre, if you want to drop some of the numbers for me, let me know, and I will give you my opinion. Even at value, I skip Olave. I don't know. I have like 9 or 10% Chris Olave, something like that. Garrett Wilson, 68.5 yards. That's a lot. Good gosh. Against the 49ers? I'll take the under, bro. That's a lot. He does have Aaron Rodgers slinging on the rock, though. I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a great season, but like up against a good defense, like, man. Oh, you didn't see the Indy game? The Indy game was crazy, bro. Alec Pierce made 2 massive plays downfield. Anthony Richardson is such a physical specimen. It's just crazy to watch him. The dude has a cannon for an arm. I mean, he can just launch the ball 65 yards downfield like it's nothing. It's crazy. And Brees, 64 rushing. Olave is to me what Drake London is to you. That's pretty bad. You must really hate Chris Olave, bro. Oh, yeah, it was an absolutely unbelievable throw. Both of them were. Yeah, I mean, he had 2 big plays. Yeah, Alec Pierce went absolutely nuts. Like, oh, man. Poor Michael Pittman Jr. owners. You don't know what to expect from the Jets? Here's what you can expect from the Jets. They're going to be really damn good. They're really good on both sides of the ball. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think that Breece Hall has a very good chance to be the running back 1. I think that Garrett Wilson has a very good chance to be a top 5 overall wide receiver. And I wouldn't start their defense this week playing against San Francisco, but I think their defense is going to be really good as well. Yeah, well, with Anthony Richardson, it's Wilson 0 target competition. I say take it. You think so, Dirtbag? You're taking the over on 68.5? That's a lot, man. Against San Francisco? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm personally taking the under there. If you wanted to go the over, I totally get it. I mean, Garrett Wilson really doesn't have any target share competition, and he has one of the best quarterbacks of all time throwing the ball. I get it. Mike Williams, you think he does decent or not? Mike Williams is always so hard to put a finger on. I think that Mike Williams is a guy who has a high ceiling on a weekly basis, but I wouldn't expect any sort of consistency out of him. Mike Williams is the cheap chase. Mike Williams is the cheap chase points wise. I don't know. I honestly don't know what that means. Oh yeah, yeah. But when Chase booms, Chase is certainly a better fantasy asset. But Chase can be a little bit boomer bust. There's no doubt about it. White and Reed for Kenneth Walker. Yes. Yes. I absolutely love Kenneth Walker this year. Rachaad White is nothing to me. And I think that Jayden Reed is big play dependent. No, I would make that trade. I know there's some people that would say no, but I would make that trade in a heartbeat. I mean, the upgrade from Rachaad White to Kenneth Walker is absolutely a massive, massive upgrade. And Jayden Reed, his quarterback's out for the next month. And even when he comes back, Jayden Reed isn't really a target hog. He's still going to be big play dependent. And I guarantee you, this week 1 that he had is going to be his biggest week of the entire season. So right now, he's actually a good candidate to sell. And most people would accept that trade. So I would go ahead and go get Kenneth Walker. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's just such an incredibly crowded wide receiver room. You know, there's going to be weeks where Christian Watson's the guy. There's going to be weeks where Wicks is the guy. I don't trust it on a weekly basis. Yeah, bro, go get K9 for sure. All right, y'all, I'm going to hop on out of here. It's been good. I just wanted to kind of give you all my opinion on the games. Appreciate you coming in and commenting and asking questions and everything like that. You know, I'm going to be live streaming a ton this year. I'm going to be live streaming every Sunday before the games, after the games, every Thursday before the games. So I'm going to be in here a lot. And tomorrow, don't miss my buy low trade targets video because I have a lot of players that we need to buy on the low. And I'm going to give you that list tomorrow. All right. See you guys later.